Peace and blessings, shalom. I'm trying to put in words something I wrote earlier today. It's a little different when you're in front of a camera trying to remember what you wrote. But on Islamic countries, there is a crescent moon and star. Almost all of them have a crescent moon or crescent moon and a star represents the sun. And the crescent moon obviously represents the moon, but it's moon and sun worship. Apollo or Apollyon and Artemis or Diana were twins. Artemis or Diana, the image that fell from heaven, this stone, it was a white milky looking stone that fell from probably the moon, since it's moon worship. Anyway, as Islamic people would say, the Prophet Muhammad, and as Christians would say, they wouldn't call Muhammad a prophet, they would just say Muhammad. He invaded Ephesus, or somewhere near Ephesus, where the image of Artemis, which was like a lucky, very fortunate stone. People would travel from all over the world to rub on this stone and get this sensation from this outer darkness or outer space rock. And it would give them this fuzzy feeling and they would prosper. It's all about prosperity. Well, Muhammad decided to take that stone to what we call today Mecca. And it is the mother of all worship. It's like the female, the mother. It doesn't mean it's the biggest worship on the earth, but it's growing into that. Soon, probably will be the biggest, if it's not by now. But each year, you're required to go and walk or dance like like a ritualistic walk or dance in a circle around this stone. And a part of her ritual was to go up on a mountain or in the wilderness somewhere and walk in a circle, circular dancing. So Islam got, a long time ago, Islam split. Some believe that Ali was the prophet to follow. He was the successor of Muhammad, and others didn't believe that. They believed the successor was someone else. So eventually, over time, the different peoples pushed back and forth to each other and made a dividing line between Eastern Turkey and Iran on one side, and which is Shia, and on the other side of these mountains were Iraq, kind of lower Iraq, and Saudi Arabia and all the other countries, formed the Sunni. And the Sunni really push the moon god worship, Artemis, Diana, this very improper way of believing. This go to this rock and worship it and kiss it, which is this rock. They cover it with something so it looks black, and they put a stainless steel female private part over it. So you're basically going to this place in the wilderness, and that's also a characteristic of the moon goddess Artemis. Well, she was the goddess of wilderness hunting. The bow and the crown on her head was the crescent moon. If you go to Mecca, on top of this great big clock tower building is a crescent moon. And I think there's some kind of ritual with the bow and arrow. I'm not sure. From studying in the past, it seemed like there was some kind of a ritual with a bow. But anyway, her brother, Artemis's brother, was Apollyon. He was the star, the sun. And he is more of the masculine side of what we call Islam today, Shia. The Shia Muslims of the north and the east, which is Afghanistan, Iran, and Turkey. Mostly eastern Turkey. And it kind of lines up with there's this civil war that happened long ago, and it still carries on today. And the country of Gog and Magog is Turkey. Meshesh, Tubal, and the 7 churches were in Turkey. And all these, I think 8 or 9 cities are names of people, but there were geocentric cities in Turkey today. We have the 7 churches that are in Turkey. Are the 7 churches in Turkey today? No, but that's where the 7 churches were located. Israel was dispersed up into all parts of the Turkey and surrounding area of Turkey, and eventually they dispersed all over the world. We have the church all over the world today. So is Islam. It's all over the world today. But for the sake of prophecy, trying to keep it from being so ununderstandable, I guess, you've got to look at the location first before we look at DNA second. If Turkey, Iran, and Afghanistan were to unite, the Shia were to unite and invade and destroy Mecca, then Apollyon, who goes forth and conquers, to conquer and to conquer, who has a crown and a bow, and that's him and his sister both had crowns. His was the crown of the sun, like the sun rays coming out of his head. like the Statue of Liberty, that kind of sun rays coming out of their head, out of his head. But Artemis, her crown was the crescent moon. She was very good with the bow and arrow, and so was Apollo. They were twins. But they oppose each other in this Islamic religion. The Shiite are really upset with the Sunni and the way Mecca is ran, and I think they have had enough of Artemis and the moon god worship. And I think what we're going to see is an unraveling, and that the Sunni will be given some kind of chance to take the mark of the Islamic Khalifa, or the appointed one, or the Mahdi, Imam Mahdi, which will be from the land of the Assyria, or land of Assyria, which will make him the Syrian, the Antichrist, as Christians would look at it. And the mark that he carries, XZS, is like the god of war, the god of just had a blank, sorry. But this is the mark of the beast, and anybody that is Islamic or that lives in the Middle Eastern area, you probably don't want to live in North Africa, Middle East, or Far East Europe, because that is going to be conquered by this guy called Imam Mahdi or something like that. I don't claim to be a Middle Eastern expert, but I've been looking into Revelation and other books, and I watched a few videos, and it kind of opened my eyes to this geocentric. And I knew long ago when President Bush and Cheney and Rumsfeld all tricked everybody into attacking Iraq with these weapons of mass destruction that were not there, that we conquered and disbalanced or threw off the balance of the Middle East, so that the Shiite got control of the government in Iraq, when it was balanced by the ruler that was there. Not agreeing with any of it, I'm saying it was balanced, and now it's unbalanced, giving the upper hand to the Shiite or the Shia Muslims. So, well, how's that apply to us? We're told not to take the mark, and it's 666. Well, there was no number 666 in John's face when he was writing down all this. He saw crossed swords, a flag with a snake, or a snake on a pole, and whatever the keep having blanks here. The X, Z, and S, which stands for Zeus in one language, but it stands for Apollo and the son of Zeus, which is Apollo, sorry. So Jesus or Jesus is the son of Zeus, which is Apollo, which is the Assyrian, which is this leader of Magog, or Gog and Magog, which is Turkey. Gog, Magog, Meshesh, Tubal, Javan, all these cities that are in the book of Revelation, those are cities in Turkey. The North African countries are going to unite with Turkey, Iran, Afghanistan, and some other the countries that have Stan in them, are all going to come, and they are going to be Shiite, and they're going to be furious, and they're going to be moving like wild boars across the Middle East and not just from the east to the west. They are already military bases in East Africa on the Red Sea, military bases ready to launch an attack from Eastern Africa over into Southwest Arabia. And these military bases are strategically being placed all around the Sunnis. And the Sunnis are building these beautiful cities, and in Mecca you can buy a gold Mercedes, literally made out of gold, and impressed in that gold, diamonds. What a waste. You're gonna blow all this money you get from oil and minerals and whatever else, and blow it on making yourself so adorned. And then you take people, after you abuse them, make them forcibly work and live in slums. Then when you're done, they can't work any harder anymore. You sell them for the cheapest or highest bid, whatever. You know, this place is like stinking up the nose of the Shiites. The Shiites have had enough Shiite, I guess you would say, enough crap in the Muslim world. They're done with the Sunni. They're like, Israel, or the Jewish state, is the enemy of Turkey, Iran, Afghanistan. All these countries are just done with the shaking of hands that the Jewish state did with Arabia. And Jews defending Mecca, and Mecca, the Sunni defending the Jew. They're so done with that. They're like, what? How dare you? And they're going to, there's a fire being lit in the camps of the Shiite to attack Saudi Arabia and the surrounding countries, the Sunni countries, and the Jewish state. I say Jewish state because if you say Israel, it gets confusing. They're going to attack probably Christians and Jews in the land of northern Israel. Because they're done. They were done with the Jews a long time ago, but when Saudi Arabia and the Emirates, all these Sunni countries just shaking hands and doing all kind of weird dancing with political dancing, I guess you would say, dancing with the devil. The Jews and the Arabs are going to get a rude awakening when the Stanis, Turkestan, all these stands in Turkey, are the Shiites, are going to attack, and they're going to destroy. Apollo is going to destroy Artemis, his twin sister. Sounds like a cartoon, like I'm making it up, but Apollo tricked Artemis into shooting one of her loved ones or whatever, and same thing. Artemis tricked Apollo, and they tricked each other back and forth. But now this myth is not so much a myth. These are demons and devils that have been fighting each other over the ages, using people and governments. And sorry for the shaking of the camera there. I'm having a neurological moment. Sometimes my left and right hand don't talk to each other. They just do their own thing. So when I get excited about certain topics, I get tremors, so please forgive. But, you know, this information is throughout the old books that were thrown out, the apocryphal, pseudepigraphal books. And if you read between the lines, you're like, why is Apollo written? That doesn't make any sense. But Apollo, what is being said here is Apollo had a crown and a bow, and that's what he was known for. And his twin sister Artemis, the image Diana, this stone that fell from heaven, the image of disgust, the mother of all harlots. This image Muhammad took to his city, Mecca. And he broke every commandment. He stole, he raided, he did all kinds of things. He married a 6-year-old girl that was like a princess, but the royals marrying royals, they don't have an age limit. It's just bloodline, I guess. But still yet, he's known for slavery. He's known for having a very, very young child as a wife. It's just, it doesn't look good. All the things that are there, this disgust that has reached to, even in Islam, the practices of the Sunni marrying children and having slaves and being disgusting. The Shiite look at these things and are like, you know, this is bad enough, but then when you partnered with the Jewish state and did all these other things, we're really done. So I think really soon we're going to see this civil war within Islam. And if anybody is spared, is that they will take they will take the mark of this prince, this imam, this Mahdi, the hidden imam, the Mahdi. He'll be known as Apollyon. He'll be known as the Assyrian. He'll be known in the Islamic world as Al-Imam Mahdi or Muhammad Jabal or something along those lines. The different peoples and high priest of the Islam. Those kind of names are going to be his title. Again, I don't claim to be some expert. But the land area, the Assyrian, Apollo, it sounds like a cartoon, but that whole area, North Africa, Eastern Europe, Middle East, and all those Muslim countries throughout the East, even the Far East, some of those countries have the crescent moon and star on their flag, which means they're an Islamic Iran country, like Malaysia. And they're going to support who? Are they going to, half the countries are this and half the countries are that, but 20% of Islam is Sunni, and it's growing. Sunnis are growing, and the Shia are growing. 20% of Islam is Shia or Shiite, and it's growing. And 70 to 80% of Islam is Sunni. So how does 20% devastate 80%? Because the whole time the 80% is just thinking of prosperity. The 20 to 30% of the Sunni are thinking warfare and conquer, and we will finally be in control. Well, the other one is sleeping and partying and having fun, dabbling into all kind of garbage. The other one is constantly scheming on how to conquer. And with supernatural help from fallen angels and good angels, the Afghanis, the Iranian or Turkish, Armenians, all these people from that part of the world are going to come together and whoop it down. They're going to whoop at least northern Israel and all of the strategic points that are set up to attack all the Arabs. All the Sunni countries of the Middle East are going to be attacked, and like really quick. It almost seems like if it's Turkey, that they will have some NATO backing. I don't know if that's true, but Turkey is one of the biggest NATO members there is. I think they're the biggest in the Middle East, that's for sure. And they're humongous. They have President Obama gave them billions of dollars, and then he gave them technology. The whole 8 years he supported Turkey in building up that country, and all of a sudden, at the end of Obama's administration, all of a sudden we get this big, huge palace that the Turkish president had built, and all these new buildings and all new tanks, and then they start producing all kind of weapons, from small arms to big arms. Tanks, helicopters, planes, drones. They're like one of the biggest producers of handguns now. It's insane how much Turkey has come a long way in a very short time, and they just keep growing. So try to keep this to 30 minutes here, but maybe we'll see some crazy stuff happening here soon. Love, peace, joy be to you. Peace and blessings. Yeshua, I bless you. May all glory, honor, majesty, power, and praise be to you, Father and Messiah, forever and ever. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Peace and blessings to you.